So I've had this bottle in my possession for a little while now. It's been sitting here unopened and it's kind of been driving me crazy. So I figured might as well go ahead and put this one out into the world. Gonna be giving my first impressions on Armani Stronger With You Oud. And as we can clearly see, this is an exclusive edition. So this is not the only brand or the only line to do something like this. If you take a look at something like Dolce & Gabbana, for example, within the one fragrance line, they have several exclusive editions. Luminous Night, which was recently on sale. You might have caught that sale if you're subscribed and you check out my community posts. Royal Night, Mysterious Night, and so on. And so typically when it comes to these exclusive editions, they're going to be harder to get. And that's why I bring that up in the first place. They're going to be more expensive, and it's going to be one of those deals where when they do come in stock, they're probably going to go pretty quickly. So at the time of this video, I'm not too sure if this is in stock right now, which is why I just figured I'd put it out there anyway. If I waited until this came into stock to upload my video, chances are it might come in stock at a time where I'm not putting out a video, and then by the next morning for me to put out the video, it's going to be gone already. It's one of those deals. That's why I'm just going to upload it now, so that way you can kind of get my thoughts on it initially and see if it's something that you'll want to pick up when it does come into stock. And you best believe when this one does come in stock, there's going to be a post on my community tab, so get subscribed and stay on the lookout for that. And like I said, I've been super excited to check this one out. You know, I've really come around to oud quite a bit, especially designer ouds. I mean, what all can go wrong here? I would think not too much, but you never really know. So we're going to crack into this one to see how it smells, how it compares to the rest of the line, if I think it's going to be worth picking up, if I think it could be a potential hype monster. And later on down the road, a few months from now, I'll probably do a review and we'll check out performance. Alrighty, so here we go. Stronger With You Oud. Really sharp looking bottle here. You've got kind of a generally black looking bottle. It does have a little bit of an opaque transparency to it, transparent or translucent, one of the two. You can see the juice level in here, so it's a little bit see-through. And then you just have gold accenting. Other than that, it's your standard Stronger With You bottle. They've got the same ribbon type of deal going on here, which matches the texture on the cap up top around the collar, all that good stuff. Armani logo on the top of the atomizer there, batch code on the bottom, you know, pretty standard all around. Let's go and give this one a shot. We'll see what it's all about. Okay, here we go. Nice wide atomizer on these. Not pressurized, but does put out a good cloud. And so initially, right off the bat, this is about exactly what I was expecting. You get that Stronger With You DNA, that sweetness, that kind of hazelnut smell, or chestnut rather, and then oud. So the oud here is making itself known right off the bat. Not too medicinal. It does have a slight bit of a medicinal smell, and I picked up on that as soon as I pulled the trigger on this and smelled it there, my first smell. You could kind of smell that oud medicinal feel, but already it's kind of dissipating just within a matter of seconds. It's kind of stepping back. It's almost taking on kind of a greener smell, kind of green and refreshing. It's a very balanced oud here, nothing too strong. If you want an example of a medicinal smelling oud note, take a look at a couple Manceras. Depending on how far in you want to go, you could take a look at something like, I believe it's Black Line or something, which is very, very oud heavy and medicinal. But even some of the notes in something like Oud Lemon Mint has a little bit of a medicinal feel. Generally, the Mancera oud accords have a medicinal smell, which you can pick up on easily, except for Intense Cedrat Boisé, which has none of it at all, which impressed me, but I digress. If you're familiar with Manceras, you've smelled some of their fragrances that contain oud, you'll know that medicinal smell. Now this one isn't to that level, so that's good. For a lot of people, that is awesome, because that kind of gives you something that is more mass-pleasing here, gonna be easier to pull off, and of course, because it's combined with the Stronger With You DNA, it's gonna be very easy to wear. Now, in terms of the note breakdown, we've really only got 3 to 4 from what I've seen. We've got lavender, we've got oud, of course, we have vanilla, And then in some places I've seen amber, which isn't really too much of a surprise, right? So 3 to 4 notes here is what they're giving us. Now, in terms of being 3 notes, that doesn't surprise me at all because that's kind of the standard thing that these brands are going towards. Are there more than 3 notes in this fragrance or 4? Yes, of course, right? It's not like all of a sudden brands stopped using 10 or 12 notes or more or less, give or take, and now just only use 3 exclusively. It's a marketing thing. It's what they want to choose to give us. What I do get, of course, is that chestnut note for sure, 100%. So that's cool that they're sticking with that theme. That's something that was kind of lost in Intensely, but did remain in Absolutely with the rum. They brought it back. In the original, of course, they had that chestnut, and it just kind of gives it a different feel. It kind of gives it a similar feeling to that of something like Replicas by the Fireplace. Now, if you've smelled By the Fireplace, it has this kind of roasted marshmallows, almost gourmand, smoky type of feel. It really does smell like something of sitting by the fireplace, and Stronger With You kind of plays on that a little bit. I've always kind of described it as the more designer-friendly version of By the Fireplace. And so with Stronger With You Oud, you're maintaining that DNA. You're getting that vanillic sweetness in here, which is kind of giving it a syrupy vanilla smell. The lavender is just giving it a little bit of an aromatic balance. Now, one thing that I would bet on is that there is a little bit of, I don't know, maybe perhaps a bit of a geranium in here or something a little bit green, because I do pick up on a slightly green touch, which may sound a little bit out of place with a fragrance called Stronger With You Oud in the title. But I don't know, a little bit green. There's a little bit of this menthol type of smell. Kind of somewhat comparable to that of Parfums de Marly Layton. A lot of times when you hear that one talked about, people talk about this kind of menthol, minty, green, more so feeling, like you can feel it in your nose rather than smell. Like I don't think Layton smells like mint, but you do pick up on a menthol smell. And that's kind of similar to what's going on in here. So that could be coming from a number of things, whether it be the oud being just a different variety or some sort of green note in here. Not really sure, but it's something to point out. And it does stray further in that oud direction than not. So I think it's a well-fitted name here. I don't think this is a situation where it's 90% Stronger With You and then they put in 10% of oud and some other stuff to make it a flanker. It's much more leaning in the oud and aromatics direction, kind of separating it from Stronger With You. Now again, of course, that DNA is still in there, but it's kind of away enough to where it makes sense to be a flanker, and it's something that wouldn't be redundant. You know, this is something that you could pick up and then have different situations in which you would wear this one, whether it be if you want something that's a bit more challenging or something more upscale and dressed up, that sort of thing. And this one definitely does have much more of a professional smell to it. I think we can all pretty much come to an agreement that Stronger With You, the DNA, doesn't really smell all that professional, from the original to Intensely, and even Absolutely, which has that rum going on. It's a little bit heavier, doesn't really have it going. Freeze is fresher, still that youthful smell, and Only is kind of a hybrid of, you know, Freeze and the original, that sort of thing. So this one's by far going to be the most professional and upscale smelling. If you wanted something that was professional for an evening out of the lineup, this would be the one to go for without a doubt. And one that I'm also forgetting to bring up is Stronger With You Leather. Okay, that's also another one that's kind of exclusive, limited edition, whatever. It's in an all gold bottle. I do have that one as well. And while it does stray in a little bit more of a mature direction in comparison to the others, this one still takes the cake. So this is a fragrance where you've got to at least be a little bit familiar with oud, in my opinion, to dive into this one, especially at the price point this one's going to be going for regularly, given that it's an exclusive edition like we talked about in the beginning. It's going to be running you some money, and if you're brand new to fragrances and you're typically going for freshies and aquatics, or you're just going for fragrances like Stronger With You or Armani Code Profumo, or insert other super sweet fragrances in that category, the oud in here may be a little bit off-putting. Again, it's really well done, and I think they did a good job of kind of walking that line of not getting too crazy, because trust me, if you put this in the right hands, they could go super crazy with it and it wouldn't be appealing to most people out there. But at the same time, it's still oud, and so you do have to be careful about that. Now, with that being said, though, I do really like it a lot. I think it's a great kind of exclusive edition. I do agree that this wouldn't probably belong in the main line, hence it being exclusive. I think that was the smart move. Yeah, it's annoying that it's hard to get your hands on, and that's typically going to be more expensive, and it's going to be in and out of stock. But this just doesn't really have what it takes to be in that main line. I mean, it's already hard enough to get the original and intensely and even absolutely here in the United States anyways. So it's just one of those deals where it's like, all right, whatever. That being said, if you're a fragrance collector, if you're a fan of the line, and you just want to get something that's a little bit different from the rest and kind of stand out the most and be the most unique out of all of them, that is going to be stronger with you oud, at least what I'm picking up on here. I can't see this one changing too much more than it has now, although it only has been about 10 minutes, so I'm sure it will. But to that point, throughout this 10 minutes here, it's been relatively linear. Now, like I said, that medicinal smell that I picked up on as soon as I sprayed it, like literally as soon as I took in that first breath, it has dissipated a little bit, but you're still getting a lot of oud. And so I think it's probably just going to slowly taper off. As soon as you get into the dry down, it's probably mostly going to be vanilla and chestnut and hints of oud. You're probably still going to get it, but it's not going to have that sharp kind of menthol green smell, although I could be wrong, of course. That's kind of what I'm predicting though. So I think overall it's going to stay relatively the same. That's going to do it for me, guys. That's my take on Stronger With You Oud. So really, if you're someone who wants something a bit different, you want to collect this one, and you happen to like oud in fragrances, then definitely go for it. Although it's not going to be everyone's cup of tea. I think a lot of you guys who fall into the category where you're getting tired of designer brands putting out the same stuff all the time, I think this is your solution. So jump on it, because yeah, it still has that DNA going on, but it's bringing in a note which is nowhere near as mainstream as so many of these other notes which are constantly being used, and so I think that's valuable. If you want something different, put your money here once you can get it. Like I said, get subscribed, because this will show up on my community tab as soon as it comes in stock. Alrighty guys, that's going to do it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.